Collapse rarely announces itself with chaos at the start. It begins with rationalization, small compromises, justified shortcuts, outcomes held up as proof that the path was acceptable. But the pattern is clear. When rights are treated as expendable, the results they were meant to secure unravel too. ActFoE draws a hard line. The moral priority order is not negotiable. Rights first. No deliberate rights violation as a means to an end. Consent second. Where rights conflict, preserve or restore consent, the ability to choose freely. Commitments third. Law, hospitality, forgiveness, constraints that bind us, not tools to be discarded. Outcomes last. Results matter, but only within the boundaries above. Why outcomes last? Because results are endless and ever-changing. There will always be another crisis, another justification, another necessary evil. If rights and consent are treated as expendable, the anchors of civilization are gone. What remains is expediency without principle, a drift that corrodes trust and collapses institutions. Here the distinction matters. There are two versions of ActFoE. The human version is flexible. It recognizes that the Overton window shifts, that enemies evolve, and that survival sometimes demands choices no algorithm should preempt. The AI version, experimental, is rigid. It forbids utilitarian shortcuts, refuses to bend rights to outcomes, and disciplines machines so they cannot play God in the shadows. This dual structure is deliberate. Humans must retain judgment, but machines must never manufacture victims in the name of efficiency. Case study. Collapse when rights are sacrificed. In ancient Rome, leaders justified suspending rights during emergencies with the promise of stability. Temporary dictatorships were rationalized as necessary evils, but each suspension eroded the rule of law. What began as short-term expediency hardened into precedent, and precedent into collapse. The Republic gave way to empire, not because results failed, but because rights and consent were repeatedly sacrificed in pursuit of them. Case study. Endurance when rights are preserved. Contrast this with Athens under Solon. Faced with economic crisis and social unrest, Solon refused to sacrifice rights for expediency. Instead, he enacted reforms that canceled debt, freed enslaved citizens, and restored consent through law. The immediate results were messy. No one was fully satisfied. But the guardrails of rights and commitments held. By preserving rights first, Athens avoided collapse and laid the groundwork for a more enduring civic order. The payoff. Civilization is not secured by outcomes alone. It is secured by constraints, rights, consent, commitments that make results sustainable. Outcomes matter, but only within those boundaries. Without them, every victory is hollow, every shortcut a step toward collapse. With them, even imperfect results can endure. This is the line ActFoE, experimental, won't cross. The machine refuses to collapse exhaustive chains of judgment into shortcuts. But humans must keep a window open, because crises evolve and enemies change. Sometimes survival demands choices no algorithm should ever make. That is not a blanket endorsement of expediency. It is a warning. On a sinking ship, someone must close the hatch. The discipline lies in knowing which voice is speaking. The rigid safeguard that prevents AI from drifting into tyranny or the flexible framework that entrusts hard judgment to human hands, hands that must live with what they've done.